Unveil the ancient secrets of the moon's influence on your garden. Welcome to the world of moon gardening, a practice as old as time, yet as fresh as the morning dew. Imagine a garden flourishing under the moonlight, its cycles guiding your green thumb. Picture a garden that grows in harmony with the celestial dance of the moon, its phases dictating the rhythm of planting and harvesting. Now, isn't that magical? Come, let's harness the lunar power for your garden. Moon gardening is an ancient practice deeply rooted in human history. It taps into a timeless wisdom that has guided farmers and gardeners for millennia. But what exactly is moon gardening? Moon gardening, also known as lunar gardening, is a practice that aligns planting activities with the lunar phases. It is based on the belief that the moon's gravitational pull affects plant growth, much like it affects the tides of our oceans. In the past, our ancestors relied on the moon to dictate their agricultural activities. They observed that seeds germinated at different rates and plants grew with varying success, depending on when they were sown in relation to the moon's phases. Historical lunar calendars were used to keep track of these patterns. These calendars were not simply tools for marking time but were vital agricultural guides, providing farmers with a roadmap for when to plant, cultivate, and harvest their crops. Moon gardening is not a new age fad but a continuation of age-old traditions. It is a practice that has survived the test of time, passed down through generations, and continues to be used by gardeners around the world today. Whether you're growing vegetables, flowers, or herbs, moon gardening can add a new dimension to your gardening experience. It's about working with nature, not against it, and using the moon's natural rhythms to guide your gardening activities. Moon gardening is about aligning your planting activities with the lunar phases. It's about embracing the rhythms of nature and harnessing the moon's power to create a thriving garden. The moon's gravitational pull affects everything on Earth, including plant growth. Just as the moon's gravity controls the ebb and flow of ocean tides, it similarly influences the water in the soil. This lunar tug, while subtle, can have substantial effects on our gardens. Now let's delve a little deeper into the science behind it. You see, plants, like all living organisms, are made up of a high percentage of water. This makes them susceptible to the same gravitational forces that govern our oceans. During periods of strong lunar pull, such as a full moon, the water in the soil rises closer to the surface. This increased moisture encourages seeds to swell and burst, promoting germination and growth. Moreover, this gravitational pull also affects the sap flow in plants. During the waxing moon, when the moon is getting fuller, the sap tends to rise. This makes it an ideal time for planting and encouraging growth above ground. Conversely, during the waning moon, when the moon is shrinking, the sap descends, making it a perfect time for tasks like pruning or planting root crops. So in essence, the moon's gravitational forces act like a natural growth regulator, prompting plants when to grow and when to rest. It's a fascinating dance of cosmic forces and earthly responses, all happening right in our backyards. Understanding this natural phenomenon can significantly boost your gardening success. Each lunar phase has a unique influence on plant growth. Let's dive into the details. The new moon phase is a time of beginnings, an ideal period to plant seeds. It's during this phase that the moon's gravitational pull is at its strongest, enhancing the rise of moisture in the soil, which is beneficial for the germination process. As the moon transitions into the waxing crescent phase, the gravitational pull lessens but the moonlight increases each night. This phase is best for planting above-ground leafy crops and grains. The increasing light combined with a still strong gravitational pull provides optimal conditions for swift growth. Then comes the full moon phase, characterized by a decrease in moonlight but a surge in gravitational pull. The full moon phase is the time for planting root crops and perennials. The moon's gravitational pull helps stimulate root growth, while the decrease in moonlight focuses energy on the roots. Lastly, the waning crescent phase is a period of rest. This is the phase to avoid planting and instead focus on improving soil conditions and pruning plants. The decreasing gravitational pull and moonlight during this phase reduces plant activity, making it an opportune time for maintenance tasks. So you see, from the new moon to the waxing crescent, the full moon, and finally the waning crescent, each lunar phase plays a significant role in plant growth. By aligning your gardening activities with these phases, you can optimize your plant's growth. Let's delve into practical examples of what to plant in each phase for optimal growth. As we've learned, the moon cycle is divided into 4 main phases: the new moon, waxing crescent, full moon, and waning crescent. Each phase offers unique conditions that can enhance the growth of certain plants. During the new moon phase, when the moon is entirely hidden from view, the gravitational pull is at its most potent. This is an excellent time to plant leafy greens like lettuce, spinach, and kale, which thrive with the increased moisture levels. As the moon transitions into the waxing crescent phase, it begins to illuminate the night sky. This phase is perfect for planting flowering plants like roses, daisies, and sunflowers, which benefit from the moon's increasing light. The full moon phase is when the moon is at its brightest, illuminating the night with its full glory. Root vegetables like carrots, potatoes, and beets thrive when planted during this phase as the moon's gravitational pull is lower, allowing the roots to dig deeper into the soil. Lastly, during the waning crescent phase, as the moon's light begins to diminish, it's an ideal time to plant perennials and biennials. These plants, such as asparagus and winter wheat, benefit from the decrease in moonlight and the increase in soil moisture. So, whether you're planting leafy greens during the new moon or root vegetables during the full moon, aligning your gardening activities with the lunar phases can yield fruitful results. Now you know how to plant by the moon cycle. Moon gardening isn't just a myth. Let's hear from gardeners who've seen the results. This is not a tale from yesteryears, it's a practice that continues to bring joy and success to many gardeners today. Take Mary, for instance. She was a novice gardener with a dream to grow her own vegetables. She started following the moon cycle and found that her plants were healthier, stronger, and they yielded more produce than she had ever seen. It wasn't just her imagination. Her neighbors noticed the difference too. And then there's John, a seasoned gardener, who had been gardening the traditional way for more than 20 years. He decided to give moon gardening a shot, and the transformation was astounding. His roses bloomed brighter, his tomatoes were juicier, and his garden was the talk of the town. Or consider the case of Emma, a city dweller with a small balcony garden. She adopted moon gardening techniques and transformed her small space into a green oasis. Her flowers bloomed in harmony with the lunar phases, creating a mesmerizing display of nature's beauty. These are just a few examples of the magic of moon gardening. From novice to seasoned gardeners, from vegetable patches to flower beds, the lunar influence has shown its power. These success stories prove that moon gardening makes a difference. It's time to look up at the night sky and let the moon guide your green thumb. Ready to give moon gardening a try? Here are some tips to get you started. First up, tracking lunar phases is a must. You don't need a telescope for this. A simple lunar calendar can do the trick. There are countless apps and websites that can help you keep track of the moon cycles. Second, planning is key. Once you've got a handle on the lunar phases, you can start scheduling your planting activities. The new moon phase is great for sowing seeds, while the waxing phase is optimal for growth. And don't worry if you miss a phase, there's always the next lunar cycle. Finally, remember that practice makes perfect. Moon gardening is a journey, not a destination. You'll learn and grow along with your garden. To help you get started, we've created a downloadable lunar calendar template. With these tips, you're well equipped to start your moon gardening journey. We invite you to experience the magic of moon gardening by giving it a try. Unearth the potential of your garden, and let the lunar cycle guide you. As you embark on this journey, remember that you're not alone. There are communities of moon gardeners who are eager to share their experiences and learn from yours. Join these online spaces, share your progress, ask questions, and let's grow together. Share your moon gardening journey with us. We can't wait to see your flourishing gardens. Moon gardening is more than just a gardening technique. It's a rhythm, a dance with the cosmos, a way to harness the moon's gravitational pull for a lush, thriving garden. Remember, aligning your planting activities with lunar phases isn't merely folklore, it's backed by science. It's about observing, learning, and growing, literally and metaphorically. Embrace this ancient wisdom and you'll marvel at the magic that unfolds. Experience peace and connection with nature as you align your gardening with the lunar cycle.